Let's look at a couple of the televised races over at Newmarket. It's the first meeting on the July course, and at 2:30 we've got the Animal Health Trust celebrating 75 years handicap. Well done to everyone at the Animal Health Trust. That's a great milestone. Tricky old race this, Frank. How do you bet?
Yeah, Omran is 3-1 favourite. Juanito Chico 9-2. Six Strings 13-2. Ejabe 7-1. Thomas Cranmer 8-1 along with Novo Man. Law and Order's 10-1 and we're 14-1 bar.
I'm going to be backing Juanito Chico, unless any of you can make a very good reason for why not. G-Rod, you going to bat first?
Yeah, Juanito Chico. Yeah, I really fancy it. Likes downhill tracks. Won at Brighton and was very impressive when winning last week at Epsom. And I think this course will be ideal. I mean, the July course is a long way downhill. I know they've got that uphill finish, but most of the track is on the way down. And well, I mean, that race at Epsom, the first two dominated that race throughout. Juanito Chico looked in an impossible position and it absolutely flew home in the last furlong to get there. It was the only one to come from behind to get even close in that race.
Great ride by Sylvester de Souza, wasn't it?
He rides that track beautifully.
He's good at Epsom, isn't he?
He does. And this can defy the rise, this Juanito Chico.
Righto, DJ?
I don't really have a strong fancy, Bruce. I'd be willing to chance Six Strings, who I think could be well handicapped off 87. We've only seen it 3 times as a juvenile. It's been gelded, though, before the start of the season. And that run in the super sprint at Newbury, I know it says it finished 9th, but it looked like it was going to win a furlong out. I thought it ran really well. It's held in high regard by Richard Fahey, and I just wouldn't be surprised. Look, it's not a really strong fancy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was above average.
Fahey's got 32 runners on Saturday. Isn't that incredible? How many winners do you think he'll have? DJ, you go first.
6.
Okay, I'm really glad you didn't do a summary of all 32 there. That was just the answer I was looking for. G-Rod, how many do you think?
I don't know what sort of form he's in.
I'm just saying a number. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Play the game, Graham.
I'll go for 3.
3. And Frank, what about you?
I'll just guess 4.
4, right? Okay.
You're already plucking out of the air.
That was fun, wasn't it? Frank, what's your view of the 2:30 at Newmarket?
I thought the 2 at the top of the market would be difficult enough to beat. Omran won very easy at Newcastle last time off a £9 lower mark. Now that wasn't probably much of a race, but it's the run before it at Newbury where he was 4th, beating a length behind Bacchus. That's probably the strongest handicap run all year. Everything is won out of that race. It's unbelievable. But I think if you remember back to the podcast we did before Epsom, I was very keen on Juanito Chico, and he did the business. Now, he won by a length, but in reality, he was far more. He won by far more than a length. He was held up and he got a blocked run for most of the way, and you thought, oh no, here we go, he's not going to get out. But Sylvester got him out and he flew home. Now he's got £7 for that, and that was probably a stronger race than the one Omran won in Newcastle. And for that reason, with Sylvester still up, who I think is one of the best jockeys around, I think he'll go in again.
Jolly good. Okay, right, let's move on to the 340, which really is the head scratcher of the day, isn't it? It's the John Sunley Memorial Handicap, mile and 6, 7-1 the field, Frank.
Yeah, Hot Beat and Jama are 7-1 favourites. Nikita, Cape Cova, Lord Yates and Bats Rock are 8-1. Byron Flyers 10-1. Champagne Champ 12-1 along with Angel Gabriel and Gabriel's King, and we're 14-1 bar.
Definitely your turn to go first, Frank.
I thought this Jama was very interesting. He was gelded at the end of the year, and he came back and he was second on debut on his season reappearance at Chester, or what was his run before? Sorry, it wasn't Chester. At Haydock, where he was well backed. He went up £3 for that run, but went to Chester next time, where instead of being out in front with him, they held him up, and he was actually very impressive. He came out wide and still picked them up, not a bother, and won by 3 lengths. You kind of got the feeling that he was a young stayer on the improve in a big way. He got £7 for that, but I think he will be tough enough to beat. And he's about 7 or 8 to 1.
Okay, that's Jameh, I think. Jaameh. Hard one to pronounce that. G-Rod, what do you reckon will happen here?
Nikita, for me, the top weight, got in all sorts of problems. Chester Cup, just travelled beautifully through the race, got absolutely murdered on the inside route, and then bounced back at York last time, ran an absolute cracker. I'm not sure that track, that big galloping track, is ideal for Nikita. It travels well, and I think this course will suit. Frankie Dettori is a positive booking. As long as he waits and waits and waits, it can be a bit quirky, old Nikita, but he's got loads of talent.
How much are you going to have, 40 quid each way?
Not that confident in this race, but maybe 25 each way.
25 each way. DJ, are you confident?
Reasonably, but I'm going to throw another one into the mix here. I think the only reason Bats Rock is the price he is because you see a 7 in front of its name. But if you watch that race at Goodwood last time, sure, he nearly came down 2 furlongs out with Josephine Gordon, was travelling well at the time. That 1 mile 6 handicap was won by Top Tug. Now, won reasonably convincingly by Top Tug, but Bats Rock was 9-2 that day, and I'm convinced he would have been second. And if he was second, he'd be about 7-2, not 8-1. Very, very unlucky. I thought it was a nice reappearance at Ascot behind a Peard. I think he's well handicapped off 84. I think he's been crying out for this trip. I'm a big fan of Josephine Gordon.
She's terrific, isn't she? I was going to say that, DJ. She's really come on even more from last year, hasn't she? You can be so confident when you see her in the saddle, can't you?
I tend to get carried away with these things, but I think she's the best female jockey I've ever seen on the flat. I think she's exceptional. Like she's strong in a finish. She gets horses to settle. And she's like, I could see her being snapped up by a really top stable. I think she's that good. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you are. Are you a fan, G-Rod?
Yeah, the thing that I most like about Josephine Gordon is she keeps it simple.
Yeah.
And that's my favourite asset of any jockey.
Which most women don't do.
God, let's get off that. Yeah. Frank, what's your view on Jogo?
I think she's excellent. I think the best compliment you can give to any rider is never do you actually go, oh, she's done something wrong there. You just think she does what she's supposed to do and no complications, and there's never really any excuses with any ride she gives. She's always on the ball.
Apart from Bats Rock's last time, though, where she nearly got brought down.
Yeah, but I mean, that's good. Look, that's Goodwood, isn't it? I mean, anything can happen there. But plenty of jockeys have been caught out by the camber and the weirdness of Goodwood. Okay, so to summarise then, we've got Jarmere for Frank, Nikita for Graham, and David fancies Bats Rock. Okay, anything else at Newmarket, DJ?
I thought in the 525, this is a stab in the dark, but I think Furnas could be a lot better than a mark of 95. Now, I know 95 is no cakewalk for starting off in a handicap, but I was woeful impressed with its performance in a mile 2 maiden at Newmarket last year. Travelled so well that day and beat Lexington Law and Perigee, and both of those are decent yardstick. Now I know Lexington Law is a serial loser, but rated in the 80s, so is Perigee. And I like these Godolphin horses that come back from a break. I think Furnas could be very good in the 525.
Graham?
3.05, yeah, outdo for David O'Mara. It's back to a nice mark, and quite an eye-catching race when third at Ripon a couple of starts ago. Had to go right round the outside of the field. It was a bit disappointing last time, but this ground will suit him a lot better than it did then. It should be probably on the far side of good at Newmarket. I looked at the forecast and it's nice and dry, which is nice because I live up that way.
Excellent. Frank, anything else for Newmarket?
In the 155, the maiden, a horse called Folktale was fourth on debut at Goodwood, but that novice race was particularly strong, I think. The winner, Massar, is heading for the Chesham. Invincible Army was very well back that day of James Tate. Cost a fortune, probably could end up in Royal Ascot too. The two of them pulled a little bit clear, but this Folktale was a little bit green. He was very slow away. He stayed on nicely at the end without being ridden too aggressively, and I just thought if he stepped forward for that run at all, he would be nigh on impossible to beat.
I'm so glad you've brought that up, Frank, because I was actually at Goodwood that day and I was watching the race with Nick Gifford, and I backed Folktale because Nick was trying to give me a tutorial in horses going to post, because you know me, they all look the same, they all run the same, I'm absolutely useless, they're just horses, and he was trying to sort of, educate me in the finer points, and we picked out this Folktale as a horse who looked nice going to post. We backed him, and on the way back, he basically summed up everything you said. He wasn't hard on him, ran on well, looks a hot race, so I must remember to back Folktale.